This drizzle drizzle movement is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Against my better judgment, I went on Bumble. I connected with a guy. We were having great conversations. We talked a few times. We made a plan to go out and have lunch. The day of, I'm getting ready. He hits me up and he's like, so I'm in the mood for seafood. Do you like seafood? I'm like, yeah, I like seafood. He like, okay, well then we should go to this restaurant. I don't even remember the name of it because we ain't go. But anyways, we should go to this restaurant and I know you paying for the lunch. Drizzle drizzle. No, I know I'm hanging up in your fucking face. Clicky clicky. Because you gotta be a drizzle drizzle fool if you think you gotta be a whole different level of sassy to use the word drizzle. I don't give a damn if it's misting outside. If rain is coming out the sky, you better not even say it's drizzling. Because I'm gonna walk away. Drizzle drizzle. No, I'm not going. And that's for drizzle for shizzle my nizzle. Fucking fool.
Another man saved from a brokey by the drizzle movement. Women and entitlement are just like twins. If you can't afford it, you have to say so. I don't think there's anything wrong with paying for food on the first date. It means you don't like the man or you are just there to eat. There is a storm coming and the first thing you will feel is drizzle drizzle. He dodged a bullet because he knows his worth and you can't afford him. He saved himself from a lot of trouble. You didn't even consider equality? So in short, we all want to be equal until it comes to money. You save us just as much time trying to figure out if you dig for gold or not. It is just funny that you all claim to be independent, boss lady, etc., but can't pay for meals except if a man pays for it. You fumbled the ball. I'm sure he got a better queen. Men should learn to know their worth.
So I actually really want to discuss why this drizzle drizzle movement is really important. Because the men who are playing into this thing, right? What they're trying to show women and what women are not getting is how lazy, entitled, and selfish so many women are in relationship. And how so many women actually have such high expectations of men that they date that they do not have of themselves. Most of these women who have these high expectations of men to pay for things, to have resources, have actually never built something themselves. And many of the men who are like the top creators in this category are men who have built something, which is why they can so strongly stand in the humor of it confidently. See, we as women have just lived in this culture for so long that we don't recognize what was built before we came in to the culture that was created by men. The reason that we could even attain the civil rights that men have is because of the men who worked to create those civil rights. And absolutely, women have contributed to that. But they built it on the backs of what was created before then. And we need to appreciate that. We have to have appreciation for it. Otherwise, what we are doing is we are simply being little girls whining and complaining rather than actually being creators of the culture, which is what we need to do as women right now. We need to step up and become culture creators. But most women don't want to actually acknowledge their responsibility for their own lives, the responsibility for the culture, the environment that has been created for our world to thrive. And until you really take responsibility for your own life and the world that you've created for yourself, it doesn't really matter what the men do, because we are the ones that set the tone for everything, including relationship, including culture, including standards, which starts with the standards we have for ourselves.
Refreshing to see that there is someone that get it, or at least is human enough to acknowledge the ugly behaviors men have to navigate every day. You are making too much sense for them to understand, and most people that don't want to do the work on themselves. Personal responsibility, acceptance, ownership, and accountability are always lacking, and which is why this movement exists in the first place. A man usually listens to his partner and consider her thoughts and ideas, but will ultimately make logical decisions that are not emotional. Most men have built an amazing lives for themselves, and they don't actually need anybody. It also depends on men who set the standards. Men won't even settle for less. A lot of people forget what equality is. People forget what 50-50 is. Ego is the biggest thing dividing people in this world. The only way we can grow is by dropping our ego completely. Just remember that none of these women were allowed to live rent-free, not doing laundry, cleaning and cooking in their mama houses, but somehow a man house should be free of charge. Women don't want to take responsibility for anything, including their own emotion, ideas, beliefs, or anything. They are always busy blaming men. Rather than women trying to create and lead, everyone would be better served if women accepts and humbly and graciously played more supportive and complementary roles. What women are not getting is wrong. They get it entirely. They just don't like it. Everywhere in the world, privilege is fought for and not given.
No, you Drizzle Drizzle men are actually being dead serious. You're not making a mockery of any sprinkle gals. You're simply projecting, right? Because sprinkle gals, we don't have to make anything up. We can just live the experience and then talk about it because it is a reality for us in our dating experience, right? Because we don't seek men, the men seek us, and we pick and choose which man is worthy of being with us.
This woman is literally panicking about her justification for Sprinkle being demolished by Drizzle Drizzle. And it is hilarious to watch because Drizzle Drizzle is literally men flipping the script. I have seen videos where men are literally taking a woman's video and saying the same exact thing. But there's so many women that are still refusing to see it. Ladies, these men are flipping the script in order for you to see it, to open your eyes, for you to realize that the things that you have been expecting of men have been outrageous.
No, you are wrong. Women choose who to sleep with and men choose who to marry. You can't choose anything because you are still single. The difference is that women never claim to be providers, take care of men, buy them things. If you claim to provide, which men have, then expect to be asked to be provided for. We just want a 50-50 split on the bills and stuff. 50% from her first job and 50% from her second. You can feel the panic, frustration, and worry through her voice. If you do anything that is expected, it will be seen at best as the bare minimum and in no way be appreciated or rewarded. Most men gave up on seeking women after they realized that it is not worth it. They can take care of everything else themselves. Men are now the prize and full package. They will choose if you are worthy to be with them because they deserve everything good. The Drizzle Drizzle movement is giving sprinklers the weight scale after they said how much they think they weigh and they don't like it. The only women complaining are the exact women who have been doing the sprinkle to men all this time, and now they have no free rides anymore. I love how she said, men come to us. We choose who we want. And how's that going for you ladies? Highest depression rates ever. 1 in 3 women are divorced and are single mothers. Drizzle Drizzle is separating intelligent women from unintelligent women. I can't believe they are still not getting it.
So I'm seeing a lot of videos about the Drizzle Drizzle community in my For You page. And honestly, I am so glad that men just have stopped pretending. I would much rather dusty men know their place and own the fact that they don't have the masculine characteristics to actually provide for a woman and be the leader of a family. The best part about them owning Drizzle Drizzle is the fact that it's going to make dating for women a lot easier. Because now men are not going to be hiding whether or not they're dusty, whether or not they're providers. I've had so many girls that stay in relationships for years because the guy convinces them that they're a provider even when they're not providing. And they future project to these women and they're like, yes, when we're married and when we have kids, I'm gonna buy you everything and you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom, just for that to never happen. So now I'm really glad men are really, standing up and being like, hey, I want to be treated like a woman. Because now women like us that want a provider and that want to stay in our feminine energy know who not to date. And just how there are women like us that would never touch a guy like that with a 10-foot pole, surprisingly, there are women that want that. There are women that want to take care of a man. Because just like how those guys think, oh, no guy is gonna want a girl that's sprinkle, they have no idea that so many men want to take care of women, of the woman that they love. So for once and for all, let's stop fighting. Let's make women that want to provide for men get with men that want to be provided for. And let's let women that want to get provided for get with men that want to provide for them.
Talks about dusty men but have several dusts on her face. Just tell us what you want instead of having these long-winded monologues. High-value men don't have time for this. The ones who hate can't afford Drizzle Drizzle, and the ones who can't see it as the same thing as Sprinkle Sprinkle are blinded by the reaction of Drizzle Drizzle. Most of all, these women should admit that they are looking for a parent, not a partner. It is more hilarious that women are triggered that their own nonsense is being thrown back at them. Why can't women provide? Are we all not equal again? What happened to being independent and don't need no man scenario? I didn't realize women are so weak. Modern men are attracted to modern women, while traditional men are attracted to traditional women. Women don't care about being providers. Any man that goes to work every day is providing value to the society, and most of them barely get anything in return. The king is the prize, and the king knows it.
Drizzle Drizzle. A lot of y'all girls are clearly showing you have no sense of humor. The joke is going right over your head. The fact is that y'all have been saying the same ridiculous stuff online, and when you say it as a woman, you don't see nothing wrong with it. But hearing those same ridiculous statements come out of a man's mouth, now all of a sudden you take him back and you offended. It's 2024, and I honestly don't understand whether or not you're a woman or a man, why anybody would not be living a soft life. I don't know why anybody would be aspiring for a hard one. Like, make it make sense. It's called a partnership for a reason. Because two people are supposed to be coming together so that they can do for one another equally. You pour into their cup just like they pour into yours. But y'all turn this into a selfish act of you trying to gain something from somebody else and benefit from somebody else, meanwhile not caring what they get in return from you. And as long as you're going into a situation like that, you will always lose, because you cannot use people like that. You cannot go into a situation and only thinking about the ways that you can benefit from it and neglect the other person involved in it. At the end of the day, if the girls want to sprinkle, the fellas can drizzle. I'm pro everybody being in a soft life era, because there's no reason why you should be living a hard life. I don't recommend that for anybody. Stress is the #1 killer. I don't recommend anybody to be out here intentionally living a hard life. I don't subscribe to anybody getting with a person who's going to make life hard on them. Right? You could do all bad by yourself. Why in the world would you enter into a relationship with somebody who's going to put you through a hard life? Doesn't make sense. Date wisely.
Teamwork makes the dream work. You are right. It should be a partnership, but so many women are looking for a sponsorship. You can't expect someone to give you a soft life, and they don't live one themselves. It's never going to happen. You get the best results out of people when they are being treated properly, no matter whether it is a woman or man. My mom treats me like a prince, so if she isn't going to treat me like a king, then she can't have me. Now, our money is our money, while their money is our money. A hard life has its benefits so long as you have someone who's willing to be loyal and supportive. You just gotta find that symmetry and balance. If she can't handle you at your softest, then she don't deserve you at your hardest. Fellas, if she can't take you to Monaco for a vacation, she doesn't deserve you.
Oh, we know exactly what you ladies want, but we're not giving it anymore. Drizzle Drizzle. We're done with the patriarchy and this old archaic way of doing things where we're supposed to provide and protect for you, where we're supposed to be willing to risk and give our lives for you. Listen. We don't need to bring anything to the table, because we are the table. Without my seed, you can't have any kids, Drizzle Drizzle. So what you gonna do about that? Listen, we are in our soft guy era. I need to get my beard taken care of every Tuesday, so I'm gonna need you to go ahead and send $75 to my barber via Cash App every Tuesday before I get there, so that I can get my hair taken care of, Drizzle Drizzle. All right. And when you get your taxes from working hard all year while I stay at home and play PlayStation, I need you to give me the whole amount so I can flip it for us, Drizzle Drizzle. Oh, yes. We're no longer being providers and protectors and buying into the patriarchal system of letting you guys get on the boat first if the sink is shipping. No. We're done with those days. We are equal now, so we will get on the boat based upon whoever is the strongest, Drizzle Drizzle. All right? So don't ask us to do anything, provide anything. If we go out to eat, 50-50, Drizzle Drizzle. If you have another kid by another man, 50-50, Drizzle Drizzle.
The Drizzle Drizzle at every last statement is funny. Men are getting wiser. For several decades, men have been sidelined, humiliated, and insulted by women. Now, they have decided that everything will be shared equally because women have always wanted equality. Men deserve special treatment. They want to go for vacations, shopping, spa, etc., and all will be paid by women. It is not too much to ask. Men are tired of the masculinity expectations society puts on them. Men are just holding up a mirror and forcing women to confront how they have been acting.
This is one of the realest drizzle drizzle, satire, reverse psychology movements that I've ever seen on social media, on TikTok. This is wild. How all of these women is going back and forth with these men. He said a whole tone out of a joke. And it done went 11 times around the moon on TikTok. And it all came from reverse psychology. That was smooth as ever. And I've been laughing for a minute because I caught it from the first snippet when I seen what was going on. And I just been laughing and laughing. And these women about to lose. Calm down, ladies. Calm down. It was just a joke. It was a real legit joke. Reverse psychology on how women actually be sounding, saying half of the stuff that they actually be saying out of their mouth. If you gotta make it make sense, make it make sense. And he just did it in reverse as far as a man saying it and seeing how it sounded. And oh, he done pissed off everybody. Log off TikTok, log off TikTok, log
Men, if a woman is not going to spoil you with, let her go. We have raised our standards, and we are no longer settling for less. Drizzle Drizzle movement is now a way of life. Fellas, if she can't get flowers to your place of work every day, then the relationship is dead. The chickens have finally come home to roost.
All right, so I wanted to answer this question. I'm going to give my opinion on what it means. So what is Drizzle Drizzle? Well, in a nutshell, it's the response to this lady.
How do you know if a dude is lying if his lips is moving? Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said there's nothing wrong with 2 incomes? That's right. So there should be nothing wrong with you having 2 jobs. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Yep, that's right, Miss Sprinkle Sprinkle. The one who's done more to educate men on how toxic and narcissistic today's modern women are than I ever could. Men have picked up the ball, and they're running with it. They're saying, okay, fine, ladies. If you want to have your 6s, we're going to have our variation too. If you're going to set higher standards, so are we. Whatever standards you set for us, we're going to set for you. All in the interest of equality. So ladies, we've been warning you. Be careful what you wish for, because the day has come when your standards are going to be applied to you. And what's interesting is seeing the responses from women. And it's falling into one of 2 sides. There's the one group, let's call them the no one's ever going to pick me's, who are mocking and laughing about it, thinking it's the best thing ever and that they've somehow won by getting men to walk away. They're cheering it on and celebrating it. To them, it's a win because, well, no man is ever going to approach them and ask them out, and it makes them feel better if they can think that they drove the men away. And then there's the other side, the ladies who aren't toxic, the ones who see men as valuable, who want to be in happy, healthy relationships with them. And they're just as upset. Upset not at the men, but at these other women who've driven men into Drizzle Drizzle. Because they know that men have now seen women for what they are. They're not going to tolerate the behavior, and they have walked away. And now that they have, they aren't coming back anytime soon. Maybe ever. Because you see, in the end, men don't need women. We can do just fine on our own. I know ladies don't want to hear that and don't want to accept it, but the average woman does know it to be true. It's only the toxic ones that think men are babies and need mommies to take care of them. It's an interesting conundrum for the ladies because it's pretty much split evenly that I can see right now. Which one of the two groups of ladies is going to come out ahead? Who knows? But the true winners, the ones who are going to win in the long run, is men. Because they're not going to have to put up with the drama, the narcissism, the never-ending increasing demands that today's modern women have placed on them while offering nothing in return.
We take the ball, run with it, and that will become a touchdown. Men are not even looking back now. They are now more than serious. If she won't pay your bills, send her packing. No more dusties. Men are walking away from toxic relationships. Women need men more than they need them, but they won't ever agree. Men are finally coming around. Keep it up. Keep it up, brothers. Do not settle anymore. If she is broke, kings don't poke.
I'm afraid that men are about to learn rule number 1 of capitalism. In order to negotiate, you have to bring value. And in order to strike, you have to be able to take something away from the person that you're trying to strike against. That is the meaning of a strike. It means withholding something until you get your needs or conditions met. That's a strike, okay? So I just have one question for all of y'all. What is that thing? Go ahead. What is that thing? What are you going to withhold from women in any meaningful way that is going to force us to meet your conditions and demands? What will it be? Go ahead. What will it be? What will you withhold from us? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about what it is you can meaningfully withhold from women in order for your movement to be effective? Because I guarantee you, in less than a month's time, tops, I promise you, everybody's going to forget about this. Do you know why? Because there's nothing at stake. There is nothing at stake. And let me explain something else to you. Without the forceful withholding of women's human rights away from them, there's nothing in our society that is dependent on men marrying women. But there is a lot at stake for women marrying men. You know how you know that? It's because the government is getting involved. Because our rights are getting removed from us again. Because a lot of things in our society rest on the laurels of women's unpaid labor. Do you understand that? Women have been going on strike and withholding that labor. And that labor is so valuable that not only are men getting their panties in a bunch about it, but the government is getting involved. And they're reversing our rights to our own bodies and to our own freedom and our own safety. And that's how you know our shit's working. You know what the government's gonna do when there's too many single men? They're gonna start a war or something and send y'all to die. That's what they're gonna do. Don't be crazy. Y'all need to get your shit together and try to survive. Because I'm telling you, it's not gonna work like it did for the women. It's simply not. Let's really think about it. Let's unpack this, even. I'll lay it all out for you. You bring nothing to the table by default. Nothing. Nothing. When you start to talk about, we're gonna not date women, so what? Women don't want to date most of y'all anyway, and you talk about, it's the men who have figured this out. It's y'all's whole, 80-20 theory, where, 80% of women only want to date the top 20% of men. Yeah. You understand why that is, right? It's because men aren't shit. Like 80% of men bring nothing to the table, to the point where women only want to date the top 20% of guys because that's the only tangible value that y'all bring to somebody's life, is being either really good looking or making a lot of money. Those are your only tangible values. So you are already not as valuable as women because only a small percentage of you actually represent something that women want, okay? Something that women actually want. So for you to remove yourself from the dating marketplace means nothing because you've already been sitting on the shelves. Do you understand that? You've been sitting on the shelves and nobody wants to pick you up. Rule number 1 of capitalism is supply and demand. There's simply not enough demand for y'all to be going on a strike. Like, it just simply isn't. There's not. What y'all did was overestimate your hand. Like, you overplayed your hand. You overvalued your stock value. You overvalued yourselves. People only care about y'all being single insofar as it's going to threaten other people's lives. Do you understand that? You bring negative value to society. Like, oh my God, like I hate to break this to you, but you literally bring negative, you take away from society. Y'all like murder people. So weird how giving people easy access ramps in the form of unpaid human labor, and this applies to white people as well, Amazing how that will just take away your ability to think critically about your own value, because your rights haven't been constantly taken away and you haven't been abused by every system that you are forced to fucking exist in, that you stop questioning, like, what value do I actually bring to the table? The systems that allow you to exist so freely without thinking about anything at all have ruined your ability to think critically about things. So you perceive your own value to be so high while not realizing that your value is artificial. It's been given to you, and other people are not treated the same as you. And in the same way that white people love to brag about culture that doesn't belong to them, that they didn't create, that they have simply just been benefiting from, not only culture, but also actual physical value and labor and everything like that, white people take credit for it in the way that's like, oh, well, we built all this. And it's like, no, you didn't. You took credit for it, right? And it's in the same way that men take credit for women's invisible labor. And if you really want to talk about providing, the title actually should not be provider. It should be bringer. That's all that y'all do. You've only ever brought money to the table, which a woman is forced to sit because it's her only way to get money. And you know what? Now that women don't have to do the table thing, they can just go to the same place that you go and get their own money. They don't want to come to the table with you to even negotiate. So y'all are sitting over here yapping about your movement, and women are over here getting money, living by themselves, and they don't want your money. And men will be like, my kids, my house. Who made those children? Whom did they pop out of? For you to call them yours. That's insane. As far as the house, men will literally live in like the equivalent of a prison cell until a woman comes along and provides everything that's needed to make that house a home. And again, up until very recently, the only damn reason a woman would even need a man to provide the home first is because she didn't have access to money or to buying her own home. So in order to have a home as a woman, you had to get married and wait for a man to buy you a house to live in. And guess what? Women are now buying more houses than men, so they can provide their own house. I think the biggest thing I want you to take away from this, if you're a man, is that the only time you have ever brought something to a woman's table is by taking it away first from her, by withholding her access to necessities and things that she would need to survive. So what are you going to withhold? The only thing that men typically bring to the table are their needs and wants. What women can bring to a man's table, those things are priceless. That's why y'all literally had to trap us before, and you have to trap us still, because you refuse to value the actual worth of our labor and contributions. Whereas that same thing is not happening to you, because you don't contribute anything. You come and you take, you receive. It's actually the women who give. Do you know what I mean? To give something means to know how to do it. At best, most men bring. You have the usefulness of a retriever. You bring stuff. Again, that only used to be valuable because you used to not allow women to step out and bring the stuff for themselves. And now that women can, they don't need you to fetch anymore. It's like when a dog doesn't understand that you've already stopped throwing the ball and it just keeps, going and looking for the ball. Like, there's nothing. We don't need you for anything. Officially, don't need you for anything. So what can you withhold? I'm asking you. My brothers, please think. Please think before you start these stupid ass movements. You look like fools. You look like clowns. It's embarrassing. It's painful to watch. It's cringy. Like, everything that y'all are doing, do you ever wonder why it centers around setting women back 50 years? Like, this whole movement that you're not going to date any non-traditional women. Like, why do y'all want women back into that position? Because you're weak and you have to force women down. And I'm telling you, when there's too many of you, when there's too many single men, the government's going to do something about it. Because they're not going to have y'all up all the schools, okay? They're not going to have y'all doing that for much longer. They're going to figure out a war to send y'all off to. I promise you that. So be careful. Bargaining with stuff that you don't have. What's on the table? What's at stake? Bonus points if it's not violence against women. Bonus points, because that's you're going backwards. You're so weak, you have to subjugate women by hurting them. And please think about why. I just feel like you guys really overestimated y'all's usefulness on this. Frankly, until you can withhold something very specifically that would detract from women's lives, then the strike has no legs. Because please answer me, on a large scale, what do most men bring to most women other than things that are negative and put their lives in danger? Even if a well-meaning man gets you pregnant, he's put your life in danger. So you're not bringing that to the table. Even if a well-meaning man has told you to quit your job and stay home, and then 15 years into that, he gets hit by a bus, something happens to him, what has he brought to the table? And who's going to care when that woman goes out there and tries to find a job with 0 out of 15 years of experience? Things that y'all provide hold women back and endanger their lives. Frankly, women can still have those things without you. Like, women can still be a full-time mother and a full-time homemaker without y'all. They just do it after work. And a lot of women do that while they're married too. So technically full-time is 40 hours a week, right? Yeah. She can still be a full-time homemaker and mother even without a man. Can you believe that? She would just have to have a job. What else? Do y'all on a large scale bring compassion, empathy, emotional intelligence to the table? No. Women typically get that from their friends and family. So what are you taking away? What are you taking away? Women don't depend on you for those things anyway. But you know what you do? You depend on women for safe emotional spaces. You depend on women for children. You depend on women for support. You depend on women to put their lives on the back burner in a system where they will be forced to exist if something happens to you. Women bring a lot of sacrifice to the table that men know nothing about because it happens without them. It happens at the cost of their own communities and support systems, not at the cost of men. So you can't remove anything from the table where women are already sitting at with each other. You're not providing nurturing energy. You're not providing any kind of emotional support. You're not providing any kind of labor that you don't get paid for. So you come to that table to sit there and to take. You don't come there to provide. Women provide. You maybe bring. At best you bring. But 9 times out of 10, you just take. You come to sit and take and benefit and prosper at somebody else's expense. Again, this goes for white people as well. So what have you taken away? Nothing. If anything, you've taken away stress and trouble by removing yourself. It's supply and demand, my brothers. It's very simple, okay? Pick up a book and figure it out. Figure it out quick, because it's not going to end well. You'll be forgotten in 2 weeks. Whew. Godspeed and good luck, fellas. Mwah.
First of all, she doesn't even know what she is talking about. She is clearly hurt. The only time you have brought anything to a woman's table is by taking it away first. Women used to have a lot more rights before the Abrahamic religions took over. Whenever I picture my future, it's a clean house, no one lying to me, my own bed, no one yelling at me, no long drawn-out conversations. Just peace, pretty furniture, friends, and my freedom. We are done with this video. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in comment section. See you again soon.